And so if they all say, oh no, sure, we promise we're all going to sell for $10 a gallon, right? But maybe one of those companies has always had the smallest part of the market. So the next day, if they know all the milk is going to be $10 a gallon, what do? They make their milk $9.50 or $9 a gallon, and suddenly everybody's buying their milk, and the other car's like, and so they have to drop their prices, and so on and so forth. And what happens? Competition takes back over, and the trust or the cartel, or pardon me, the pool or the cartel is broken. Okay? So cartels are only effective as long as the members all hold to their word, which doesn't always work out with these cartels. This is why I said the Mexican drug cartel is off to the side, because clearly they have methods of encouraging behavior, right? Okay, which was not really in the 19th century. They weren't saying, "Damn you, Carnegie, cut your neck, pull up your tongue." You know, that's perhaps not so exciting. Cartels, while illegal in the United States, are not necessarily illegal worldwide, and there is still actually a major cartel that affects the United States today. What's that? Yeah, what's that one called? OPEC, okay? The oil and petroleum exporting countries. I don't know if you're familiar with those or not, but basically they can set the prices on oil because as long as they all agree and then they decide how much they're going to ship, that actually helps set the price of oil up or down. And so they meet. So it's mostly companies in the Middle East, but also Venezuela. They get together, they make these decisions, all that. At various times, they have not always agreed. And when they didn't agree and some of the people broke away, then oil prices went down because some people produced more and it didn't work out the way they intended. But they've been pretty disciplined recently. Of course, I hear that some of the member nations are having a bit of an upset recently. Okay, so you might see some entertainment from that, but that's that. Okay, so that's a polar cartel. Well, if the polar cartel wouldn't work, then sometimes, and in fact, what became the instrument of choice was the trust. Now, this is an interesting thing because today, when we say the word trust, and we talk about somebody having a trust fund, like an education trust fund. Is that a good or a bad thing? It's a good thing, right? We say, oh, that's kind of cool. That's a good thing, education trust fund. And yet, in the old days, if we said, if like today, if somebody's a monopoly, we sue them under what kind of laws? Antitrust laws. And indeed, Teddy Roosevelt, we say Teddy Roosevelt was a what? He was a, well, that too.
That looked like you were about to say president.
No, okay, sorry. The something buster, a
Ball buster.
no, not ball buster. Crunch. That's really more of an egg scramble, really. This class. Yes, thank you for throwing in terms that are going to make us look great on YouTube. Okay. All right, thank you for putting these on YouTube. It's very helpful. I only saw the list. I like the way you're actually titling them.
Yeah, I was actually gonna write up on the board for everybody.
Yeah, okay, you can do that just at the end of the class. He's recording these and putting them on YouTube. Now, you know, I expected to see, when you listed them on YouTube, I expected them to be things like, you know, industrialists and this and that. No, what's he labeled? Whip my hair back and forth, you know? And Jackie Chan can kill you with a hairdryer, you know? You might have to go through them a little longer to find the part in the notes, but at least he has the big, good, humorous tagline that's on it. So, put my hair back and forth. All right, anyway.
I haven't even checked it.
No, it's true. That's his latest. I mean, it's good. And like you said, I've had 2 views, I think. Yeah. Social media is a danger. All right, anyway. So, yeah, things I don't need to be tweeted. All right, anyway, so the point of the trust, what is the deal with the trust thing, okay? It sounds really bad and really good at the same time. How could it be both? Okay, a trust in and of itself is just a financial instrument, okay? It's nothing particularly exciting. What happens in a trust is you give somebody control over some of your assets. Usually it's your money, but it could be stocks, bonds, something, okay? And you say to those folks, okay, you control these assets, and by me giving up some of the control of those assets, I'm supposed to get a benefit out of them. Maybe it's that I get a benefit like a higher interest rate, you know, Maybe I get a benefit like a tax break, okay, something along those lines. But a trust is designed where I give up certain rights to control over my assets in exchange for a perceived benefit. So for example, an education trust fund. My nephew and my niece, both my sisters have set up an education trust fund, which because I'm a good uncle, Uncle Bill, okay, I contribute to, okay, it's an important thing that Uncle Bill does. Now, we contribute to an education trust fund, and so my niece and my nephew, both of them have actually got education trust funds, and they got some money in there now. Now, can my sister suddenly say, I need a new 42-inch flat screen TV, and just take the money out and buy herself a TV? Why not? Right, it's in the trust fund. The trust fund says that money can only be used for what?
Education.
For the education. So usually it's the college education of the child. And so what happens is the bank knows that they've got at least another 12 or 15 years where they have control of that money. They get to use that money, and neither of my sisters can access that money. But in exchange, so what do? They give my sisters, because of that, a better interest rate on the savings of the money. In addition, the government says that's the kind of benefit we want, so they say we don't charge you as much taxes on such a trust fund because we say we want you to save for your child's education. So do you see how the trust works? It's just something that controls your assets. In and of itself, not a big deal. But people like J.P. Morgan figured out ways to make the trust more entertaining. Okay. Now, again, name me a product that has multiple different companies that make something that you might buy.
Guitar.
Okay, I heard
Chocolate.
chocolate, cereal, and guitar. Because
Guitar.
a chocolate guitar that is eaten in cereals. Okay, let me go with chocolate only because I don't know shit about guitars. I don't. Well, the problem with cereal is we could name a lot of cereals, so most of them are made by General Mills, and so as a result, it's stuff. Chocolate's not that much better, but there's at least I know 3 chocolate companies. So name me a chocolate company.
Hershey's.
Okay. Wow, you all are right on that chocolate mark. Okay. Huh?
Mars.
Okay, M&M Mars is one of the largest companies, which makes many of the fine candies that we have. M&M Mars. Somebody said C's, and that is to my knowledge, an independent chocolatier. Hershey, of course, which makes the fine. But Hershey and M&M Mars are 2 of the biggest ones in the United States. Okay. And then, actually, let me go for the English company, Cadbury, which is Cadbury Schweppes, which is, I can't even remember if they've been bought out by somebody. I never can keep track. Everybody gets bought out at one time or another. So that's too bad. But anyway, but it is getting, as it gets closer to Easter, Cadbury becomes very important because of their very important nutritional eggs. So now, when a company, who owns a company in reality? Who actually really owns companies? The stockholders, okay? Now, the major stockholders often end up sitting on the board of directors, right? So we're going to make I'm simplifying this for a second. Let's assume that each of the board of directors of each of these different companies owns all the stock for the company. That would be true, but we're just, this is an example. So let's say that there's, 20 members on the M&M Mars board of directors and 10 on Seeds, the smaller company, and 20 on Hershey and 20 on Cadbury, okay? Now, I come over here and decide to make the Yosemite underwriters of Munchies and Mars, something that starts with a Y, trust, because I want it to be the Yummy Trust, okay? And so I create the Yummy Trust Company, yum, 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 okay? So I decided to create the Yummy Trust, and I go to some of the members of the M&M Mars Company, and I say to 11 members of their board of directors, I say, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. You put your voting shares of M&M Mars into my trust company. I will give you shares in the trust, and I will give you more money than the shares are worth. I then do the same thing over here at Seeds, and I get maybe 7 of the people it sees to end up